It's November 8, 2014. I'm Dana Durnford, and you can find my live streams at Beautiful Girl by Dana at 8 p.m. Pacific Canada time, British Columbia time. And I usually post a link to the live stream about 2 hours, 2.5 hours before I go live. And you can get that on my front page under upload. And maybe I'll go over and show you. That'll make things a little simpler. Oh, I never opened Firefox. There, Firefox. Beautiful Girl by Dana. So you go over here and you click uploads. You see all videos and events. You click that. And here you can see live now. And that would show up there about 2.5 hours ago. And there we go. I'm streaming over here. Life is good. And double click that. And just so everybody knows, right? And another way you get it through the subscription. But you can come, like I say, come to my page. Beautiful Girl by Dana. And this is what you should run into in a second here. All you gotta do is you gotta click video. In that case, now you gotta click uploads. Now you gotta click events. And you'll see if I got anything scheduled. It'll show up right there in that little tiny corner. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, now let's come over and say hi to a few people before I forget. Let's go over and say hi to a few people. Let me see what we got going over here. By taking the chance on this one, let's try it anyway. Kill that one over here. Jump on this one over here. And the audio won't matter, but I'll kill it anyway. I got no comments. Oh, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for events. That's the live stream we're on right now. Hi, Bob. Hi, Standing Foot, Toxic, Candace, Neb Killer, and another Bob, Silent. I'll get your name eventually, Bob. Wanna Be Live 24, Elwood, Roosevelt, Kevin O'Kane. Is that you, Bob? Nep Killer, Zigfree, MSVS, and anybody else that I miss? Albert, Illusion is over. 1 million grams in a microgram. How many atoms are in a gram? And then every atom can give somebody cancer in 5, 10, 15 years. Toxic. There you go. I think I got everybody. And Ali Smith, France. Roosevelt. And I usually warm up by saying goodnight to everybody. Just like it. I mean, click it. Patrick. David. Maurer. Thank you yourself. And so, I'm going to wick out of that. Zip. We're on the live stream at Beautiful Girl by Dana. And my site is nuclearproctologist.org. Don't click up there, Dana. You disappear shit. And so what did I start off with, I wonder? Oh yeah, I started off with that one here. Use nuclear fuel and storage. Well, how come they're storing it? I thought it was like bananas. I thought it was like bananas. Don't look like a banana if you got to put it in storage, and you got to put weapons around it and big walls, and you got to spend a couple of $1 billion on each plant each year. I can show you something that's not in storage, but it should be. The nuclear fuel that's inside of this place at Fukushima. That's Unit 4. By the way, this is Unit 1. 100% meltdown and lost its fuel pool. It caught fire several times, had detonations. Same thing with Unit 2. And Unit 2 had some atrocious friggin' numbers. Radioactivity at 10 million times the usual level. Well, there's a usual level because all rods are cracked. After you go through the chain reaction, you put them in the spent fuel pool. Don't get me started. Workers were evacuated March 27, 2011. And these are Unit 3 and Unit 4. And you're just looking at a Unit 4. And here's the American government model of the dispersal from Unit 1 only. Hang on. So this unit here is the only unit that's going to be in any of the models you'll see from any of the governments on the planet. and it's only for a couple of days, and you don't include all the stuff from Unit 2 that escaped and was atomizing aerosol from the detonation and the melted coriums. Unit 3, that's 100% meltdown. And Unit 4 lost its inventory on the 18th of March. Unit 4, big controversy on that one. Just before I jump back over to the model, see that building? Look at the ceiling, look at the walls, look at the building behind me. They're both Unit 4 official pictures. Yeah, I know. Can't make that stuff up, can you? So that's a distraction, right? So you don't look at the 100% meltdown and missing fuel pools at Unit 1, the 100% meltdown and missing fuel pools at Unit 2, and the 100% meltdown and missing fuel pools at 3, and 4 had several hundred rods in it. Mox fuel too, apparently. So the model is only based up on a single release from a single reactor, not the ongoing release. See, every friggin' time I want to shoot a video, I got to come out and explain that, because that's what the controversy is. That's what the controversy is. That's what the delusion is with the people that think they're on the right side and saying, no, Dana, it's harmless. It's harmless, Dana, harmless. If the radioactive material is harmless, how come CIA rolled out this sucker and said if they have a nuclear war with Russia in, that was 1989 or something, this was the CIA model of the nuclear fallout. But look at the fallout from 1951 to 1962. That's the fallout, and each of those lines are at least 2 winds from 2 separate explosions that travel in the same direction. That's not counting the stuff from the 70s and the 80s and the late 60s, mid 60s, because that only went up to 62. And then you take a look at all the models of the spent fuel pool and high level radioactive waste, high level destined for a geological deposit. Why? If it's like a banana, why they got to put it in a geological deposit? Why are they fighting over Yukon Mountain? Right? And by the way, potassium 40, and I like every video I got to do this for some reason, but potassium 40, that's in your food. A Geiger counter can't find anything you see here unless it's man-made. What they're trying to do with these pictures is tell you that there's radiation in your food and don't worry about it, it's normal. No, it's not. Cesium is a man-made element. Strontium is a man-made element. Strontium-90. And for every cesium, there's 100 times strontium. The iodines were man-made, ionized from a chain reaction. They're not created by the sun. And so every time, I got to come out and go bang, bang, bang on that. Let's jump over to, just to make sure everybody's on the same page. And then all the models, just to go back to that a second, this model's only based up on a couple of days releases over 40 days dispersal, not 40-day release, but a few days release and then a 40-day dispersal by NOAA of the radioactivity from Unit 1 in Fukushima. It never stopped coming out of there and is hemorrhaging into the ocean at an unsustainable rate. And we are doing an expedition for life up the coastline. New York Times doctor wants a ban on thyroid screening because everybody gets thyroid cancer now. It's just part of it. It's like growing teeth. You get thyroid cancers. Does that make sense to anybody? I smurfed up something here. Doctor wants to ban thyroid cancer screening. Stop the diagnosis. These are not very nice headlines. New York Times. See all the different links? These are all hyperlinks to the stories. This is not E&E News making shit up. This is E&E News telling you and directing you to it. Make sure I'm streaming and screaming. You never know. Would be the first time that Dana streamed and there was no audio for 50 minutes. And you guys still backed me up. You guys are unbelievably cool. Please stand by. Just make sure I'm streaming, otherwise everybody's yelling at me and laughing at me. And that's always fun too. Wall Street Journal, UC San Francisco. What more do you want? And not only that, they give you complimentary headlines down below. All E&E News, they're not making the headlines up. They're not making the stories up. They never wrote the stories. They just gave you a paragraph and a link to it. That's pretty cool. They keep their nose out of it. Well, they dig in it, but they keep their nose out of it. And hugs for everybody over there in the comment section, kicking and screaming, trying to go out gracefully. And you get some really good doozies over here. We had Man Bear Pig over here. I was up north. I wanted to go to China or Japan or somewhere and kill it. I wanted to go take it and stick it in a sarcophagus and see how long it lasts. Lying sack of shit was down. He had everybody tortured. Oh, talk about a horrible person. Wouldn't even debate the colors of his socks, but he would come out and tell you nothing but lie. Oh, radiation is harmless. Oh, radiation is fine. Is that why they got all these nuclear waste sites all over the planet? Yeah. Is that why they got all this stuff? They're looking for a spot to put it? Is that why that's happening? I mean, do you think these other countries haven't got the same kind of issues? Right? The people that come out and say that it's harmless, like Jay Cullen and Ken Buechler, says it turns to potassium-40 when it gets halfway out in the ocean. Well, the stuff coming out of Sellafield, 4 million litres a day, that don't turn to potassium-40, you killers, you mass murderers, you heartless, cold-hearted, destructive, maniacal, paid shills, you twisted chicken neck, pluck neck, dirty little dogs. Well, you know, let's come back over so I don't get myself off track here. I'm trying to switch off here tonight and go to something else. Keep coming back. Fukushima tumors can spread very fast, must be closely monitored. But they don't want to check it first, see? So your thyroid screening was so if you got a small tumor, a little lump, little old cancer growing there, you get it knocked out. And hopefully it didn't spread. But if you leave it there, it's going to spread. If you leave it there, it'll spread everywhere. It can spread everywhere in a short period of time. This stuff is extremely powerful. Right? And so the tumor is the sarcophagus for the radioactive element in your body, for the particle, for that atom that's in your body. And there's 100 billion atoms to make up the head of a needle. But a single atom will give you a cancer. It might take 5, 10, 15 years, but you'll get it. You'll get a tumor, will wrap itself around, try to contain that element that's in your body that's putting off the energy. That's why they need the nuclear waste sites for it. Let me explain that to the people that are trying to pay attention, who don't know any better for a quick moment. See, the red numbers you see, those red numbers, these are tonnage of nuclear waste. And this stuff vents in your community. And they're trying to find a spot where they can put it all too. But if they have an accident, they can never get back on the site and they'll lose the site. Right? Like WHIP. Like that repository down there in Carlsbad, New Mexico. And they come out and lied to everybody and said there was no plumes. They said it was like a banana. They rolled out Dr. John Neal, University of Oklahoma. And down in Oklahoma, in McAllister, all they make is dirty bombs from this stuff you see. Right? Well, you see all these tonnage, a gram of it has enough atoms to give everybody cancer on the planet. And every animal probably on this planet. Not probably, and every animal on this planet. If they all, and there's still enough floating around that is like an invisible snowstorm with a gram. A gram of these will produce the same amount of atoms as all the grains of sand and all the beaches on the planet. But those grains of sand, consider that a Becquerel will flip over a grain of sand. And that if it's in your body, it's pulsing, and your body floods with white blood cells and attacks it. And that displaces the oxygen molecule in your body. Speaking of oxygen, Missouri reminded me tonight. Joyce down in Missouri gave me a shout. And there was no birds. They got farmed. They got all kinds of animals. They've been living there most of their life, if not all of their life. And they're close to retiring, I guess, by the sounds of it. I can't remember specifically. I know they're retired or close to retired. And they had a remarkable drive across the country for 1,500 kilometers, or miles, I guess. With the Americans, is always miles, so I'm going to quote miles on this one. And they never had any insects on their car, on the front of their car, or their windshield. And that's when they knew that maybe Dana was onto something. Because they couldn't believe that themselves. Because they were used to scrubbing their windshields and their cars when they get back from the trips. Because it's maggoty, usually. Well, you know, I left here and I went down to the ocean for the last 2 months and surveyed the coastline, took pictures. And you can see that at the nuclear proctologist, the synopsis of the pictures. And I've been home for 5 or 6 days. I worked all day on the boat to get it ready. We're going to try to get it in the water tomorrow or Monday, and we're going to go down and do Seashell again and Smuggler's Cove, and we're going to do Gibson again, and we're probably going to do Desolation Sound one more time because we got better cameras thanks to Paulette, and just try out all the equipment and just to keep myself out of trouble. And we'll probably do Salt Spring Island and a couple of really big multi-million-dollar islands around here, just to see what the wildlife is like and get some pictures of that and publish that up on the internet. But we're definitely going to go down and hit Seashell and Smuggler's Cove and Gibson, where Relic was towed, Beachcombers episode. Let me get back to on track here. Let me get back on track. So to use nuclear fuel in storage, a gram of that, if you just get a single atom, but consider how many atoms it can actually produce, what a gram can produce. Consider what just one of those numbers can produce in tonnage. Like there, Utah has 1 ton. So 1 ton is enough to give everything on this planet cancer thousands of times over each. So what is it when the reactors, when you look at what they had inside of them, 3,450 rods, 100% meltdown, or assemblies. Each assembly is 80 rods. Each rod is 12 foot, and each rod weighs 18 pounds. And so just a single rod is more than enough to give everybody on the planet cancer thousands of times over, and every animal on the planet cancer thousands of times over. And cancer for humans takes 5, 10, 15 years to manifest. But the elements from these reactors were elements from silos. And so they were already a couple of million times worse before they put them to the chain reaction again. Because that's what the chain reaction does to the elements. It turns them into little monsters, little predators that get out there and eradicate everything on the planet. And the most vulnerable on the planet is the phytoplankton, the nursery of the ocean. Not the tuna. Yeah, they're vulnerable. Everything is vulnerable. Don't get me wrong. Hi, Anna Beck. But just this single reactor, its whole inventory is melted and aerosoled and splattered and gone down into a China syndrome, melt through, melt out, and it's an ongoing constant release because of the coriums. Everything that falls on top of them is atoms and elements and particles. And they get atomized in aerosol when they fall on these heats. There's nothing on the planet that can contain it. Rocks and steel and stuff like that will melt at a few thousand degrees. These things can get up to 9,000 degrees Fahrenheit. A chain reaction, an unhinged chain reaction. But it's not just one reactor that done that. There's 3 reactors in particular. 1, 2. That you just see, that's 2 that time. 3 and 4. These all lost, if not, 90% of their inventory, if not all of it. And in the coriums themselves, now the inventory in the fuel pools are coriums. And it's not just one goes into a fuel pool. They're full of reactor cores. And they're missing. Remember what a gram can do? And the cancer can spread. Imagine breathing 10 hot particles a day. Imagine breathing 30 hot particles a day. Imagine breathing 100 hot particles a day. You're not just going to drop, but some do. Cesium goes straight to the heart, but there's 100 times more strontium-90. They come out and tell you about iodine-131, with an 8-day half-life, and then it's times 10. So it's 1/10 of a half-life. And you don't travel alone. For every iodine 131 they told you about, and some of these numbers were insane numbers. And I'll bring up some numbers for continuing on with the iodine. Let's go find something with iodine 131. Let me see. We'll put in 131. Oh, wrong search engine. Dana, I gotta go over here and type it. 131. 131, baby. 31, 131, 1. Whoa, what do we got here? What's this? Let me keep going. Let's go. Look, it only says 4 pages. Let's go to the last one. Let's go way back to March 11, 2001. 22 pages. Worse than a meltdown. Spent nuclear fuel pool caught fire. Oh, gee, you don't say. U.S. officials for Fukushima, March the 16th, to be deadly for decades. March 16th, they were way ahead of you, me, and everybody else, man. I put out a video on that day, hour after it happened. Chernobyl resulted in 985,000 deaths worldwide. 500% more cancer fatality when using MOX. MOX is 2 million times worse than Chernobyl. 18 million times worse than Chernobyl. Chernobyl 1/3 the size. Chernobyl 30% meltdown. Chernobyl graphite. Chernobyl never had spent fuel pools on it. It's rough. We're not talking about all the other reactors and all the missing coriums from the spent fuel pool at Fukushima. But anyway, that was a good story. CCM, come on, give me that old iodine. Radioactive iodine cesium near Chernobyl level, carried forward by the winds and absorbed readily by humans. New Scientist, March 24th, 2011. Then they lied for the rest of their life. But we're looking for iodine levels. Now for every iodine, here you go, Pennsylvania rainwater on March the 29th. Highest shade, legal limits. Reactor cores may be continuously leaking. Hang on, I'll find something. Groundwater contamination 10,000 times radioactive iodine. Now, radioactive iodine, Pennsylvania, 3,000% of the federal drinking water standard. There is no drinking water standard for iodine 131. So they're talking about potassium 40. So they're talking about 7,500 becquerels times 3,000%. But, and that's an amazing number. That's a friggin' snowstorm. If you could see that, you wouldn't be able to drive. You wouldn't be able to click and watch TV. You couldn't see it. You couldn't see the clicker. You're banging into everything, everybody banging into each other. What the freak? But lucky for you, you can't see it. Or is it? Because there was bigger clouds that came through and ionized, radiated everything. Think about a car wash. Except you don't get wet. Except it sticks to you. It sticks to everything around you. That's Fukushima shit. So the iodine, there was 10 times more iodine 132. Why didn't they talk about that? Why did they mention iodine 131 when you can't have it without 10 times more iodine 132? That ionized radiates thyroid gland 9 times more effective. But there was 30 times more iodine 133 for every iodine 131. There was 30 times more iodine 33. And for every iodine 131, and there was lots of it. For every iodine 131, San Francisco now 18,000. Radioactive iodine 18,000. Above federal drinking water standard. Well, there is no drinking water standard for iodine 131. The time of potassium 40, 7,500 becquerels in a glass of water, potassium 40. So a glass of water would have 7,500 becquerels of potassium 40. You drink it, you off gas 7,500 becquerels, potassium 40, because potassium 40 is harmless. It's harmless. I'm going to touch you with my finger. Ah, it burns. Oh, oh God, I got to chop it off before it gets to the rest of my body. It's just potassium 40. Your clothes got it. Everything you touch got potassium 40. You can't have planet Earth without potassium 40. It's irrelevant. It means nothing. Everything's been on this planet forever because it likes potassium 40. It likes it. Come on, buddy. We're partners. Anyway, no matter what you see in iodine 131, there was 31 times more iodine 129 with a 15 million year half-life. And it ain't like benign and harmless. It's not at all, ever. It's not even, there's nothing on the planet that ever encountered it before. Nothing on this planet has ever seen any of these elements. These 2,000 elements, these are man-made. Nature has 262. We got 2,000. We're better than nature. Now we're going to kill it because we're better than nature. And so if you go, when it comes to water, I know I've seen a little bit of discussion earlier. People, like Grandma Gully, people talking about fence filtration, and people are talking about growing your own food. And, oh, Jesus, even your water is radiated. Well, you got to take it for what it is. You can't just switch off because, oh, it's radiated too. Now what are you going to do? Give it all up. I'm going to go drink it. No. The idea is, do you escape GMO because GMO got the glyphosates and the formaldehydes and they stop you from uptaking nutrients. And so you avoid that and you have to eat something. You have to drink something. You're a human. 3 days without water. We picked the guy up after 72 hours in the ocean and he was delusional. He was completely delusional. All parched. And their boat went down. It was 2 days or 3 days before he was supposed to get married. I still got my sneakers. But that's okay. But, I mean, when you talk about iodine 131, what about the other 2,000 elements? See, they just keep telling you iodine, the cesium 137. But for every cesium 137, let me see here. Let's go page 21, something to do here. Cesium 137, 134. Hang on, I'll come to the bottom here. Let's get it in order. Up to April the 1st, 2011. Deep concern about Canada being impacted by radioactive isotopes from Fukushima. Yeah, because they only put Unit 1 in the model. Times contributor, New York Times contributor confirms California rainwater 181 times. Mr. Long time, Mr. Long time. 81 times, 181 times above drinking water standard. Gotta like it. But anyway, you gotta grow your food somewhere. Yeah, the water's radiated, but at least you're getting the minerals and the nutrients and the macro and the micro nutrients. At least you got a chance. You can't avoid it. GMO's gonna have it too. Unless you get your hands on big icebergs, you're going to have a hard time getting your hands on anything without radiation in it. Not just from all the testing, but just from Fukushima is what I'm talking about. Just Fukushima. Just friggin' Fukushima only. That's all I'm talking about. Just Fukushima. Just Fukushima. Look at that sucker. Fill the skies up. And the troposphere, and the upper troposphere, and the lower troposphere, and all the mountains, and it all washes back down to the coastline. Everything on the west side of the Rockies comes to the Pacific, and everything on the east, well, just about everything, and everything on the east goes to the Atlantic, and a little bit on the east side goes to the Gulf, right? But this model is only based up on a single release from a single reactor for a few days, not an ongoing release for non-stop, not the ongoing melted reactor coriums, not the ongoing coriums releasing into the environment, not the disposition from all the melted fuel pools, not the constant, endless releases. You wouldn't even see that blue circle there. All space would be full of those little dots. The moon would be full of it. If you put them all in the model, you have to put the moon in the background. Her case, I know. Let's go back. La La Land. Well, I only got a few days before I'm heading off again, so I got to make sure I get everybody up to speed and get a good narrative out there so that you guys got something to get out there and knock away with to keep them on their toes. The stinky little striking the radioactive iodine in California rainwater is so far above levels permitted in drinking water. There is no... It's a man-made element. There is no natural iodine 131 from chain reaction. We created them, rather. from the chain reaction. And they'll ionize and radiate you. And there's no acceptable limits. There is zero acceptable limits. Zero. That's why they have sarcophagus. That's why they have nuclear regulatory agencies. That's why they have the nuclear waste sites. That's why they have the laws about the dirty bombs. That's why they have the laws about waste from nuclear sites. That's why they have the laws and the money and the monetary authority, and they have to harden up these facilities in case terrorists attack them or detonate a dirty bomb in your community. You can't go down piss in the drinking well anymore. Bye-bye. 80 times the amount of iodine-131 allowed in drinking water. Rainwater had the highest level of radioactive water in the U.S. That was April the 3rd. 140,000 times more iodine-131 released in Fukushima than 3 Mile Island. TMI. Don't get me started. 140,000 times. Well, then you got 10 times that of iodine-132, 30 times that iodine-133, 31 times that of iodine-129 with a 50 million year half-life. Blah, blah, blah. Nuclear fallout will engulf Taiwan. EPA finds drinking water with radioactive iodine-131 in Idaho, Washington. But don't worry about it. It's all good, man. Go back to sleep. Shut up. Sleep. Radioactive iodine is 7.5 million times the legal limits. So 7.5 million times 7,500. Where's my big old calculator? Where's that figure to? That's it. Don't make me go off and get my calculator. Cesium-137 at 1.1 million times. Well, for every cesium-137, there's 100 times more strontium, and all their daughters. 100 times this, 50 times that, 70 times this, 25 times that. Count your numbers up to a couple of thousand, and you'll have a pretty accurate description. Don't forget to include all the other radioactive elements from Fukushima, folks. 300,000 becquerels of iodine-131 per cubic centimeter. That's time to pull you here to your friggin' head type. Don't worry if you forget, because it'll fall out anyway. A fat red bar in the graph. Never seen. Gee, I wonder what that is. Hey, George, have a look at that. Enraged nuclear expert. Well, the milk, the women's breast, the and the cesiums bioaccumulate in women's breasts, and so when they're giving babies milk, the milk is going through that ionized area, and so it's being destroyed and harmed and even radiated. Very serious stuff. Fish near Fukushima, 4,000 cents. Who cares? Seaweed near Vancouver, higher iodine. That's all iodine. Well, the reactors run on plutonium and uranium, rather. Uranium and plutonium. Mostly uranium. Dana, don't worry about the uranium. Iodine, Dana. Cesium, Dana. It's a byproduct of the chain reaction and escape from the rods. And so all the rods, like all your nuclear power plants, are boiling 1 million gallons a minute of water and murdering all those little eggs and all that bacteria and all that small fry and everything else, like and larvae. 1 million gallons a minute. There's 75 to 100 million phytoplankton in a glass of water. A glass of salt water. So what's in 1 million gallons? There's 1 billion other creatures in that glass of salt water, with 75 to 100 million phytoplankton. The basis of the food chain, basis of the oxygen chain. What are you going to do when there's no oxygen? Meanwhile, you're sequestering all the carbon. You're not even going to be able to grow a plant in about 10 years. Because they want all the carbon for themselves. So they can grow plants in their greenhouses, in their bunkers, while they're waiting for you to choke out. You know why you get drunk? You get drunk because your alcohol molecules displace your oxygen molecules. And so when you stop drinking, you don't pass out. Oh, I'm going to pass out, better stop drinking for a while. Been there, done that. And so anyway, you got rid of all the oxygen molecules. Your body's like, fuck you. You're not going to pass out on you, dude. You're going to kill me if I don't pass out, preserve my lungs and my brain, because you're an idiot at this stage, so I'm just going to let you pass out. Here, have a little puke. Okay, say nighty-night. And you wake up and do it again. Well, you'll pass out again. So that was your body knocking you out because you only had enough oxygen for the lungs and the brain and the heart, and it was time to go Betty Boy with you because you're being a dick. And that's not very nice. And so your subconscious, the little conscience on your shoulders, he takes over and goes in autopilot and goes, fuck it, he'll be okay in the morning. He won't do it all day. Some people do. But anyway, radiation, right, as it kills off the molecules, as it kills off the phytoplankton, depletes the oxygen, is already doing that on extraordinary levels. The oxygen levels are going down on this planet. And I need to flush it out better to come out with a proper presentation about this, but this is quite alarming. And so think about what happens when you get drunk, less oxygen. That's why you got drunk. That's drunk. Less oxygen molecules in your blood because your liquid, your alcohol molecules displaced it. Tobacco does the same thing. Speaking of, and oh Jesus, I said the word, now I gotta have one. And I want you to think about, by the way, a car produces 700 million times worse carcinogens than a cigarette. Millions of times worse every time. You just turn the key for 5 seconds. I can't make that much pollution in a year that you just made. That's deadly either. Cigarettes got 4,000 chemicals in it. So many. Let me keep going. I forgot what I was going to talk about. It doesn't matter. I'll talk about it again the next time, I'm sure. Radioactive rain caused 130 schools in Korea to close. Yet rain in California had 10 times more radioactivity. Told iodine 131, cesium 137. Forget about the plutonium. Forget about the uranium. Forget about the 100 times more strontium. Forget about the 31 times more iodine 129 with a 15 million year half-life. Over and over and over. Iodine 131, iodine 137. They got this little bag and they got these pieces of paper in there. And that was the only two they ever pulled out because that's the only two that's in there. 134, 135 cesiums and their daughters, iodines. Their numbers are all there if you look for them. But this is all you ever hear in the media. Large radiation cloud near California. Norwegian Institute for Air Research. Friggin' fearmongers. They're out fearmongering right away. Look at that. Dirty fearmongers. Shame on you. Norwegian Institute. April the 7th, 2011. Let's see what they had there. The dirty little buggers. What were you doing? You're trying to scare everybody in North America. This is their model from their YouTube site. They're streaming live on my YouTube site. So me. So what about all the iodine 129? What about all the iodine 131? Or 132? That ionized radiation. I can't keep that pace going, but I like it because I can get through 20 minutes like that without even realizing I got through 20 minutes like that. Oh, look at that. Cesium 134, 137 found in your food supply. Nah. You got it and we didn't. Hey, wait a second. I'm in British Columbia. We got clobbered. Anyway, I'm being a bit of a weirdo tonight. Hi, I'm Thirst. How are you? I'm probably fading in and fading out, am I? Yeah, we used to get most of our oxygen, Thirst. That's right. Yeah. Strawberry mushroom, cesium-37 found in Northern California. California got slammed. California got hammered. California got brutalized. They got sodomized. They got destroyed. I'll show you why I say that. I'm not saying that for something to do. I'm saying that because of all the studies. China exports pollution to the U.S. And you wouldn't believe the distribution of atmospheric aerosols, transportation, the Trans-Pacific corridor. It brings it right over here. $29. Take it out of the garden for 24 hours. You can go rent it. You paid for it. But now you got to go pay to read it. Your newspaper can't show you because it's copyrighted. You gave away the copyright. And your universities gives away the copyrights to all your academic journals, to all the institutions on the planet. I got thousands and thousands. I stole most of, I better not say that because they're coming after me. I haven't got it here. The distribution. Because the time for air particles to circle the Earth on the wind in the troposphere, you know that thing up there, that other ocean. It is of the same order of magnitude as the residence time of atmospheric aerosol. So if you have a forest fire over there, these great big huge massive particles, gets the fuck over here 3 or 4 days. That's right. Yep. Yeah. Comes right over. But not Fukushima. No Fukushima. No fucking Fukushima, come over here. Goddamn loonies. You loonies. What are you talking about Fukushima coming over here? Yeah, sure, the pollution comes over here. There's all kinds of study of it. Dummy, there's all kinds of studies, but not Fukushima. Well, Elsevier, Springer, and Wiley, I haven't got it here, but I got it there. Let me see, Springer. No, actually it was Elsevier I'm looking for. A Springer too. Springer, stop doing that. Springer needs an Elsevier. Who's this guy? Don't worry. But Elsevier, I typed in Fukushima last year and I had 4,900 peer-reviewed studies, but they only let you to read the synopsis on a few of them. And we paid for every one of them. We paid for the institutions, the universities, we paid for all the expendables, we paid for all the equipment in the university, we paid for our students to go there, we paid for tuition, we paid for the professors, we paid for everything. We gave them tax benefits, tax status, we gave them acculates, we gave them TV channels. We paid for all of that. We can't go look at the studies we produce because they're locked away. Yeah? 1.6 million a year, 3 a minute, 340 a day. Peer review academic studies that are published, not counting the ones that are not published, right? Not counting those, probably twice as many. We can take all those universities, all those professors, get them to work on how to try to come up with a solution. Why not? That's why we got them, right? We haven't got them so the elites can come up with technology to kill us all off. There's got to be another purpose to it. Maybe not. Because people are living in a fantasy, and they can't stay in the fantasy much longer. And the fantasy, just make sure. California got Canada radiation tests showed iodine 130 in the rainwater at 100 times above U.S. drinking water limits. How come not above Canada limits? Simon Fraser University. 100 times. So then that would mean, that there was 3,100 times more iodine 129 with a 15 million year half-life. And 100 times above drinking water standard times 7,500 becquerels. And then you multiply that by 31, multiply it by 30, multiply it by 10, and then you got your number of iodines. It's not just iodine 131. Right? The lie is a lie is a lie is a lie is a huge whopper. It's stupid that they done that to us. There's no way to hide from what they done to it because they put it out in the media. Right? They put it out in the media and they made videos, mainstream did, they come out and they lied to you. They said it was harmless like a banana, harmless like potato chips, harmless, and they could have fact checked it. They always say, experts say it's harmless. Right? Well, they're supposed to fact check it. They're not supposed to just take the expert's word and puke it up, regurgitate it up. What kind of system is that? You think you won't go out in the near future and try to debunk me and fact check everything I say and look for a few weak points and come out and beat me up over that? You think again. Because that's what they'll do to me. They'll crucify me coming up in the next year or so. They'll have me up in Times Square on a friggin' big pole, burning me at the stake probably. They will vilify me out there everywhere. They're already at it. I will be destroyed in a year's time. They already got me pension. They already cut that off. Still not going to stop me though. Still going to go do what I'm going to do because it's got to get done. And I ain't doing nothing wrong by going up the coastline taking pictures. That's not a crime. Shouldn't be. Apparently it is though. But 100 times, not telling the Canadians that there was 10 times more iodine 132 and ionized radiation thyroid gland 9 times more effective is criminal. It's criminal. It's criminal. You're a mass murderer. The people who allowed that to happen and continue to allow it to happen and go out there and attack me, I couldn't care less about attacking me, but do you think it's only going to affect the human species? Are you really that naive? Are you really that friggin' gullible? It's just because they told you all your life is like bananas and potato chips. It's time to do your own research and find out it's not. Members of the Canadian Legislative Assembly says I'd be very hesitant in saying everything is safe. Gee. Should Canada be concerned about radiation from Fukushima? I suppose. Considering the lies and the whoppers they told us. CC-137, everywhere you go, Arkansas 300% above EPA's contaminated limit for, see, that's a different one. Maximum contamination levels for radioactive iodine. Not your drinking water standard, like I was telling you earlier, but maximum containment level. Containment level. This is an ionized radiant element. It's not created by the sun. It doesn't exist anywhere else on the planet. Yeah. Cesium and iodine both at 600% above EPA maximum contaminated level in Hawaii's milk, April 11, 2011. Dude, 6 comments. Japan raises Fukushima to the same level as Chernobyl, April 11th. Right? That shows you how maniacal they are. Because on the 14th, the 15th, and the 16th, by that point then all these buildings here were melted down, 100% meltdowns, detonations, and atomizations, and aerosoling into your environment in third gear. And it wasn't just iodine 131 and cesium 137. But you can see why I always have to go through the iodines and always to the strontium 90, because this is what they done to us. Is they just kept telling us over and over and over and over, iodine 131, you go look it up, 7-day half-life. Alright, don't seem so bad. Until you look at the 15 million year half-life of the iodine 129, there was 31 more times of that. So that's how you beat them up. That's how you tear them apart. When they say iodine 131, you nail them 4 different times. Another professor surprised by radioactive seaweed south of Seattle. I guess that was he's a professor. He's a nuclear professor. How can you be that stupid to be surprised that it reached over there? I was surprised. Gee, who would have thought? I'm a professor. Who would have thought it could come all over here? Honey, it's unbelievable. It came out, but it's not harmful. You want to choke that to fucking death. We have seen iodine 131 in samples you sent us. I think it's pretty clear right now. This must be iodine 131 from releases from Fukushima. If you eat 2 pounds of dry seaweed, it would be like getting the equivalent of 1 dental x-ray. No, you fucking moron! Do you see what they just done there? A dental x-ray, you turn the x-ray machine off, you turn it off. You turn it on, you turn it off. You ingest it, you can't get rid of it. That's what these elements mean. When you read it, it's because it's there. It's because those atoms, 100 billion of them to make up the head of a needle. You can put 1 million of them in the head of a needle, you still can't see them, but each one of them will give you cancer. And when they cremate you, if you die, they cremate you, you liberate the element back into the environment. And D's an element, but you see, that pissed me off. Here's KIQRO 7 Eyewitness News, can't even fact check and say, no, it's different than a dental x-ray, you bumbling fool. A nuclear scientist at Simon Fraser University here in British Columbia, Canada. Chris Star-Osta. I gotta put you on my shit list of shitheads. Look. Fukushima, don't give me a hard time with cigarettes. That's Mother Nature's tobacco I'm smoking. Top Hawaiian health official calls out Forbes journalist for reporting milk exceeds EPA radiation level and admits he is technically correct. You're establishing data, data. Oh, yeah? Yeah. You better not do that again, you big bully. Come on. There you go. Right? So Forbes is the lapdog of the nuclear industry. It's the cheerleader of the nuclear industry. It's got that dipshit John Concha. Concha. Right? And those guys over there, Fukushima's like 75 million bananas. I can fill this building up with bananas, and I'm not going to get cancer. But fill it up with radioactive materials. If I put a rod in this house, I'm dead in 20 minutes. If I put a piece of the rod this big, a couple of pounds of it or a pound of it in my house, I'm dead in 20 minutes. And so is my neighbors in about an hour. So it's got nothing to do with a banana. And I'll kill everybody in this house. You can fill up the house with people every hour for 1,000,000 years if it's uranium in the rod. And that's what the rod's got in them. They don't got iodine in them. That's a byproduct of the chain reaction. Right? And so, we keep going. I don't know how I ended up over here tonight. It's okay. We did what we did. Nuclear fuel rods number 4 spent fuel pool are confirmed to be damaged. First time any damage was revealed, April the 13th, 2011. No, March the 18th, the NRC, you'll find the emails below. You have to do a lot of looking, but not that much. To March the 18th, you'll see them talking about the inventory evaporating the aerosol from number 4. It was gone. It's all gone. It's just a big friggin' fable. While that's loading, hang on, while that's loading, and while that's loading, let me come over and remind you, number 4, that's what we were just talking about. There's number 4. Number 4, or number 4. See over here, perfect symmetrical pull, behind me, a perfect symmetrical building. Right? That building is fine, Dana. Look how nice it is. Look how pretty that is. What's wrong with that, Dana? Dana, you're just a fearmonger. That building is fine. Look at it. All it done was blown up, Dana. The reactors melted down, Dana. No big deal. That's why you're still not in Chernobyl. Why you still trying to get in, put a sarcophagus over Chernobyl for the last 28 years. It was no big deal. Why worry about terrorists if it's no big deal? Why have all these salacious headlines if it's no big deal? Hi, Shani again. Hi, Miss Milky. Albert. I got to say hi to everybody. Let me get back into this shit here. Let me keep an eye on the time. 8:53. I got to get my ass in gear. Hurry up, Dana. You only got 7 minutes. I'm going to end up on time. Extreme spike 131. What about the uranium from the chain reaction? And cesium 137, 100 miles from Fukushima. Iodine 131, number 4. 4 spent fuel pull at 22,000 times above normal. Gee, I wonder what that meant. Chain reaction, recriticality. Chain reaction and fuel pull, I don't know. Florida rain has 3rd most cesium 134 and 5th most iodine. In that 72 samples across America, April 15, 2011. Put that in pipe and smoke it. And it's not like bananas, it'll hurt you eventually. It'll catch you rather in about 5 years and you have to liquidate your assets. Iodine 131, number 4, spent fuel pull suggests spent fuel pull started its own chain reaction. Way to go, spent fuel pull. You're a big boy now. State and city not testing drinking water because EPA is taking the lead. They're taking all the equipment and taking it away and putting it in a dark dungeon so nobody can find it. Sharp rise in radioactivity levels, single possibility of new leaks. April 16th. Florida had the highest iodine up to that point. March 22nd. Radiation number 2, spent fuel pull millions of times above the normal, 1,000 times higher than the trouble number 4. Ho ho! Millions of times above normal. That's number 2. 100% meltdown, fuel pools detonated, caught fire, blew up, went nutty. But, you know, think about the injection height of biomass of forest fires. It makes it right up into the troposphere. But not Fukushima, 1/10,000th the size of the particles from the forest fire. No, not Fukushima, Dana. No, Dana. Yo, fearmonger. Let me keep going. We got a few minutes left yet. That's enough of that tonight. That's enough of that stuff tonight. That's enough of that, Dana. So here's what Russia done is going to do to you if you don't get out and wreck your country. So that's the fallout. The CIA in the late 80s, early 1990s said would happen if they had an all-out nuclear war with Russia. Pretty fucking scary, right? Well, here's the fallout from 1951 to 1962, and each streak is at least 2 bombs that had the same wind patterns. So double dose. So they had to radiate all of you so the Ruskies wouldn't get a few of you. Pretty clever. That's why we hired them. They're so intelligent. They're so smart. They're all brainiacs, right? And not why we're doing it. All these spent nuclear fuel and high-level radioactive waste. What the hell does high-level radioactive waste mean? Gee, I wonder what that is. And why are you going to put it in a geological deposit in the ground for half a mile, 2 miles underground for it? I thought it was like bananas. Oh, it's only dangerous if the terrorists get hold of it. It's not bad if it comes out of Fukushima or sitting, venting in all your communities. All sarcophagus, all nuclear plants have to vent everything or you'll have all the noble gases build up and everything goes bye-bye after that and you can't get back in. Use nuclear fuel. Used. All of that stuff so the Ruskies wouldn't do this to you. And this model, at some point if it was updated, you wouldn't be able to see America at all, or Canada. Because the fallout didn't just go to America. They were probably waiting for the winds to blow to Canada. The dirty buggers. And they went down in Iraq and Afghanistan. They fired 5.5 million rounds a month. About 2 million rounds a month of it was dirty bombs. Yeah. Unit 1, big dirty bomb. Never gonna stop. Unit 2, big dirty bomb. Never gonna give it up. I can assure you. Unit 3 and Unit 4, they've been knocking at your doors. And the disposition, the fallout, is still ongoing. It will be ongoing for another couple of decades. Even if we stop Fukushima today, it probably will never stop falling out because it keeps getting picked up out of the ocean through evaporation. The ocean doesn't have much left in it. The trip will go on. I spent all day on the boat, getting there, trying to get everything perfect on that boat before we head off and for the winter run. That's going to be hellish. I don't know if I'm up to it yet. But I'll just keep going. It's just a warning because I don't stop. Like I said, it came in at dark. And everything is gorgeous. I'm just going to get everything cleaned up, put a new coat of paint on the floor, shine all the windows up, shine all the seats up, shine all the everything up inside of it, get it all clean, and I'll probably never clean it again. But just get rid of all the construction, the dirt and everything, I'm chopping the ends off everything and re-putting everything back on with new connections. And moved the console over to the side, to the starboard side with the steering wheel. I got all the controls remounted over now on the outside. And that way I was able to move it over closer to the starboard side and gives us more room to go up the center. So it's totally open wide, right from one end to the other and up the center. And it should be way more effective. And so now when you turn like you're going along the shoreline, the glass is perfect. It's perfect. Like, you can't even see the glass on the side of the boat. It's that clean. It's that nice. It looks like there's no glass there on the side of the boat, the way I got it done. So it really come out good. And it's all aluminum up to this couple of feet up, and then there's glass on top of that. And the back corners got 3 feet by 8-inch glass in them, and blah blah blah. And then patio back doors on it. So I kind of yacked away there at the end of it. It's just I'm exhausted. I haven't stopped since daylight. Just trying to get everything out of the way. We're going to get the boat in the water, not tomorrow probably. Maybe though. If it's a sunny day, I'll probably have it in the water by noon tomorrow. But we are going to go do a couple of days here before we take off. And I'm not sure how that's all going to play out. 18th is the date we're trying to get out of here. And that's a Monday, I think. Coming up. It's like 10 days away. Okay, I got fiberglass all over me. I got to go take a shower and get that shit off me. Had to do a lot of cutting today just to make sure everything's poked away and hid away. Otherwise, what's the sense of it? Finish the job, keep going. Because a lot of that was haywired as we were going on a trip up north. So now I'm just getting back and sorting it all out and redoing everything to make sure there's not going to be an issue, catch us off guard. You got to remember, like on a boat, you don't know if there's something wrong on your boat until you get into the rough stuff. When you get out into that rough stuff, and it still stands true, and we got a kicker. And by the way, thank you, Elaine. And that has already saved our ass a couple of times, big time. Well, saved my ass by myself out there 2 different times. And I'm not kidding you when I say those words. I am not kidding you. That saved me. Certainly from a lot of misery, if not. Definitely saved the whole show, because that was quite a nightmare. Fast tides getting pushed up on a rock anyway, he's not familiar with it. But anyway, I digressed. Good night, everybody. Grandma Goldie, Amthers, Albert, Mitchell, Annabeck, Wanna Be Live 24. We are live streaming on Beautiful Girl by Dana. It's the end of the night. Standing foot if you just joined us. This video will pop up in about 10-15 minutes after Google's finished with it. Miss Milky! Yeah, fiberglass, horrible. Nep Killer, Standing Foot. Elaine again. Just make sure I mention it. I don't see your name there. Amthurst again. Elmwood again. I already said Paul. I'm just trying to catch anybody and everybody that comes through. Even if you see your name 5 times, it don't matter. It really don't matter. I'm going to do it. Alex, Bob, Zavoda, and Bob Kayo. I can't even pronounce it because I can't see it. Lunar. Did I miss anybody? Probably so. There's no way I'm going to catch everybody. Jester. Let me see. See, I got quite a few people that time. And we say goodnight to everybody. Toxic. Yeah, Bob Kylan. Good. Thanks, Bob. Adam. Everybody. I like to say I come in and read your comment after, but Google don't give us comments after. Google deletes all the comments. And, it looks like there's last one was almost 1,000 comments on it, but you go try to find them, you can't read them. So I don't know what the frig is getting said. Sean again, yeah. Good night, honey. Thank you. Susan, too. Anyone? You're welcome, honey. Candace, there you go. I feel better. I gotta say good night to the girls too. Good night, everybody. I'll click off because otherwise I won't give it up. I will be back tomorrow night, because we're not going to be ashore for very long, so I want to try to get as many blogs in as I can. And so I'm on the ocean, there's lots of stuff to fight over and argue about. Ain't I a good guy? Take care, folks.